What's in your blind spot? Have you ever thought about that? That thing you can't see but it's always there, lurking in the corners of your vision, holding you back from reaching the potential you know you have. What's standing in your way right now that you don't even know about yet? It could be something so small, so insignificant, that you've dismissed it your whole life. Or it could be something so big, so impactful, that it's been dictating your choices without you even realizing. But here's the thing about blind spots. They are dangerous. They operate in silence. They hide in the shadows, quietly sabotaging your progress. And we all have them. We all have something in our lives that we can't see, something that's affecting our path, but we're just not aware of it yet. You might be driving down the road of life, heading towards your goals, thinking everything is fine, and suddenly, boom, you hit a wall. You're stopped in your tracks. And what do? You sit there, confused, frustrated, wondering, why can't I move forward? What you didn't realize is that you've been living with a blind spot the whole time. Something you didn't even know was there is holding you back. And unless you learn how to identify and confront those blind spots, you'll keep running into the same walls, making the same mistakes, and feeling stuck. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's in my blind spot? Because once you see it, once you understand it, your entire life can change. And today we're going to talk about exactly how to identify those blind spots and how to overcome them, so that you can move forward with purpose and clarity. I remember a time in my life when I thought I had it all figured out. I had the vision, I had the dreams, I had the plans in place. I was charging full speed ahead, convinced that I was on the right path. I had my goal set, I had my work ethic down, and I felt unstoppable. But there was something in my life that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Something that didn't make sense. Despite all my hard work, despite all my ambition, I kept hitting roadblocks. I kept running into situations where no matter how much I tried, I couldn't push through. I'd plan and execute, but the results didn't align with the effort I was putting in. It was like trying to run in quicksand. Every step forward felt like 2 steps back. It wasn't until one day, while I was reflecting on the series of setbacks, that I had an epiphany. I realized I had a blind spot. Something I couldn't see was getting in my way. It wasn't a lack of effort. It wasn't even a lack of skill. The real problem was that I was blinded by my own beliefs, my own fears, and my own limiting thoughts. I had been overlooking them because I was so focused on the big issues, the things I could see clearly. I'm talking about the unseen things, the things that are hidden from your conscious awareness, the habits you've developed without even realizing it, the toxic thoughts you've allowed to linger in your mind for far too long, the fears you've buried deep inside you that keep you from stepping into your true power. These are the blind spots in your life. It took me time to realize that the walls I kept running into weren't physical walls. They were walls I had built inside my own mind. And the only way to move forward was to break through those mental barriers. So I ask you today, what's in your blind spot? What's been silently holding you back, sabotaging your progress, and keeping you from the success you deserve? And today we're going to talk about the blind spots in your life, the hidden obstacles that you're unaware of, but that are keeping you from the success, happiness, and fulfillment you deserve. I want you to understand that these blind spots are not something to fear. They're something to recognize, to confront, and to overcome. Now, by the end of this video, you'll have the tools you need to see what you've been missing. You'll understand how to identify these hidden forces in your life and how to move past them. Because here's the truth. Your breakthrough is on the other side of that blind spot. Your success is just waiting for you to see it clearly. But in order to get there, you've got to address what's been holding you back in the shadows. So stay with me, and let's get ready to uncover those hidden obstacles and turn them into stepping stones for your success. I want you to leave here today knowing one thing. Your blind spots are not permanent. They are not insurmountable. They are simply opportunities to grow. And once you see them, once you confront them, you will never be the same again. Your success is waiting for you. But you've got to step out of the darkness and into the light. You've got to confront what's been holding you back in the shadows, and you've got to take action to move forward. So I challenge you today, go find your blind spots. They're not going to expose themselves unless you actively seek them out. But once you do, you'll break free from the barriers that have kept you stuck. You'll find the clarity you've been looking for, and your breakthrough is going to be bigger than you ever imagined. It's time to drive full speed ahead without any obstacles in your way. Let's get moving, and let's move forward together. Number 1. Understanding blind spots. Let's start by defining what a blind spot is both literally and metaphorically, so we can fully understand the concept we're diving into today. When we talk about a blind spot in the physical sense, we're referring to that small area that's hidden from our view while driving. We could be cruising down the highway at full speed, feeling like everything is clear and smooth. But just because we can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. We might have a vehicle or an obstacle in our blind spot that could cause a crash if we aren't careful. Now think about that same concept applied to your life. How many times have you been cruising along, feeling like everything is fine, only to hit a roadblock that came out of nowhere? You didn't see it, but it was there, shaping your decisions and outcomes in ways you didn't realize. A blind spot is something that affects your journey, your growth, your success, and yet, you don't even know it exists until you encounter it head on. The biggest danger of blind spots, whether on the road or in life, is that they aren't immediately obvious. They operate in the background. You don't know they're there until you suddenly face the consequences of them. In life, blind spots might not result in a car crash, but they could very well derail your dreams, stop you from progressing, and even keep you stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. Imagine driving down the road of your life, headed toward your goals and dreams. Everything seems fine. You're working hard, staying focused, and doing what you believe is necessary to get to where you want to go. But then, out of nowhere, things start going wrong. You get turned around, you hit dead ends, or things don't progress the way you thought they would. You wonder, why is this happening? What you didn't realize is that, just like that vehicle in your blind spot, there's something you couldn't see that was always there, holding you back, steering you away from your destination. Now here's the kicker. Blind spots aren't just limited to physical obstacles. They also exist in our minds, in our beliefs, and in our behaviors. And these mental blind spots are often even more dangerous than the ones we encounter on the road because they are harder to recognize, but just as powerful. What's in your blind spot right now? What unseen forces are influencing your decisions, limiting your progress, or shaping your life without you even realizing it? Common blind spots in life. Let's explore some of the most common blind spots people have in their lives, areas where they're often unaware of the impact their invisible obstacles are having. These blind spots come in many forms, but here are a few examples that might resonate with you. Limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is a thought you hold deep inside, whether you're aware of it or not, that says you're not capable, not worthy, or not deserving of success. It's that silent voice in your head that whispers, "You'll never make it." It's the feeling that no matter how hard you work, you'll always fall short. This belief is invisible to you because it often takes the form of your self-talk, your inner narrative. But it's powerful, and it shapes the decisions you make, the risks you avoid, and the opportunities you miss. Example: you don't think you're capable and that belief is invisible to you, yet it shapes everything you do. You think you're not smart enough to start that business, or you think you don't have what it takes to climb the corporate ladder. And because you carry these beliefs with you every day, you unknowingly sabotage your own efforts. A limiting belief can be so ingrained in your psyche that you don't even recognize it as a barrier. It's like a filter through which you view every situation, every opportunity, and every challenge. And if you don't address it, you'll continue to miss out on chances because you don't believe they're possible for you. Unrecognized habits. Often, the small, repetitive actions we engage in daily can create the biggest blind spots. These aren't huge, dramatic behaviors, but they add up over time and can derail our progress. Maybe it's procrastination, avoiding difficult tasks, or not setting proper boundaries with others. Perhaps you've gotten into the habit of giving up too soon when things get tough. Or maybe you've developed a habit of overthinking every decision, which paralyzes you from taking action. Example: those small repetitive actions that seem harmless but are sabotaging your potential. Maybe it's that habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning instead of setting your intentions for the day. Maybe it's saying yes to every request and overloading yourself, leaving no time for your goals. Or it could be something as simple as skipping that 10-minute morning workout routine, convincing yourself that it doesn't matter. But all of these small habits add up, creating invisible barriers that prevent you from reaching your true potential. These unrecognized habits are often the root causes of why we don't make progress. They're so ingrained in our daily routines that we don't even see them. But these habits are like unconscious programming running in the background of your life, shaping your outcomes without your active awareness. Fear of success. Some people are more afraid of success than failure. Now that might sound strange, but think about it. Success brings change, responsibility, and often higher expectations. For some, the idea of success is more overwhelming than the idea of staying in their current, safe situation, even if that situation isn't ideal. They fear the pressure that comes with success. They fear the unknown. And because of this fear, they subconsciously avoid success by not taking risks, procrastinating, or self-sabotaging. Example: some people are more afraid of success than failure. They don't even see it coming. Success means stepping into new roles, taking on new challenges, and facing new responsibilities. But the fear of that unknown is paralyzing, so they stay stuck in the same place, even when they have all the potential to move forward. Fear of success isn't something most people acknowledge because it doesn't seem logical, but it can have a subtle yet powerful influence on your behavior, leading you to avoid opportunities that would otherwise propel you forward. Engaging with the audience. Now let's get personal for a moment. Think about your own life. What's in your blind spot? Take a moment to reflect. What do you think you're missing right now? Is there something you're ignoring that could change everything? Maybe it's a limiting belief that you're not even aware of. Maybe it's a small habit that you've repeated for years without realizing the impact it's having. Or maybe it's the fear of success that's keeping you from stepping into the life you were meant to live. What if the very thing that's holding you back is something you can't even see? What if, right now, there's an invisible barrier in your life that, once uncovered, would unlock the breakthrough you've been waiting for? Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a moment where you realized something about yourself, something you didn't know before, that completely changed the way you viewed your life? That's what we're talking about today. That moment of clarity when you see what's been holding you back all along. Take a deep breath and be honest with yourself. What's in your blind spot? It's time to uncover it, to see it clearly, and to take action so that it no longer holds you back. You see, these blind spots aren't something to fear. They're simply areas of your life that are waiting to be revealed. And once you shine a light on them, you'll be able to take control of them. The first step is awareness. Once you know what's in your blind spot, you can take the necessary steps to address it and move forward. But before you can do that, you have to take a good, honest look at your life and ask yourself the tough questions. Number 2, the consequences of blind spots. Now let's take a closer look at the consequences of having these blind spots. You might be thinking, okay, I've got a few areas in my life I need to work on, but what's the big deal? Here's the thing. Blind spots are not just small inconveniences that we can ignore. They are obstacles that slowly erode our progress. These unseen forces in our lives have a profound impact on both our personal and professional growth. When you're unaware of these blind spots, you could be working harder without working smarter. You may think you're putting in the effort, making the moves, and showing up every day with determination. But without realizing it, you could be taking the long, inefficient route to success. Imagine trying to climb a ladder, but every time you take a step, there's an invisible barrier blocking your upward movement. You're putting in the energy, but you're not getting any higher. This is the silent killer of dreams. It's the quiet accumulation of unaddressed issues, habits, and fears that pile up over time, preventing you from breaking through to the next level. The longer you let these blind spots go unchecked, the bigger they get. They begin to compound, and before you know it, you're not just dealing with one small issue, but a whole series of interconnected challenges that are weighing you down. Take a moment to think about your own life. How many times have you hit a wall after working tirelessly toward a goal? Maybe you've spent years grinding, only to realize that you're not moving forward as quickly as you thought. You're working hard, but that invisible barrier is keeping you from making the progress you deserve. The thing is, that wall is often a blind spot, a challenge you didn't even know was there. And here's the truth. If you don't address these unseen things, they start to pile up. They prevent you from growing, limit your potential, and block your breakthrough. No matter how hard you try, you can't outrun your blind spots. They'll show up in every area of your life: relationships, career, health, and mindset. The key to success is not just about working harder, but about working smarter. And that means getting rid of the invisible obstacles that are keeping you from moving forward. Scriptural or philosophical reference. Now let's get some wisdom from a higher source to solidify this point. I want to share something that has been a guiding light in my life, a verse from Proverbs 4:7. It says, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." You see, this scripture speaks to the importance of not just acquiring knowledge, but gaining true understanding. Wisdom is not just about knowing what's in front of you, it's about understanding the things you can't see, the things that are hiding in the background, operating in the shadows. Wisdom allows you to navigate life with clarity, but understanding the things that are invisible to you, your blind spots, is the key to breakthrough. In life, it's not enough to just go through the motions. You can study all the books, take all the courses, and work 80-hour weeks, but if you're not aware of the things that are holding you back, the habits, the fears, the beliefs, you will never reach your full potential. Wisdom and understanding go hand in hand. Without understanding the unseen forces in your life, you will continue to struggle, unaware of why things aren't progressing the way they should. This is why it's so crucial to address your blind spots, because once you gain that understanding, you unlock the power to change your life. Wisdom is the principal thing, and with all you're getting, you must get understanding. Understanding your blind spots isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity for success. Real-life examples of blind spots. Let's take a moment to look at a few real-life examples. Stories of people who succeeded only after they recognized and overcame their blind spots. These stories will help you see just how powerful and transformational it can be when you uncover the things that were holding you back. Steve Jobs, one of the most successful and visionary entrepreneurs in history, Steve Jobs was known for his sharp eye for design, innovation, and strategy. However, early in his career, he struggled with his own blind spots. For years, Jobs had a tendency to alienate people with his harsh leadership style. He was so focused on perfection and innovation that he often pushed his team to the limit, and his inability to empathize with others created friction within Apple's leadership. Jobs' blind spot was his emotional intelligence, his lack of awareness around how his actions were affecting those around him. The turning point. In the early 1980s, Jobs was forced out of Apple, the company he founded. This was a massive blow to his ego and his career, but it became the catalyst for change. During his time away from Apple, Jobs had to reflect on himself and his leadership style. He recognized that his inability to connect with others was a major blind spot, and it was holding him back. When he returned to Apple in the late 1990s, he had learned to temper his approach. Jobs became more emotionally intelligent, more collaborative, and more mindful of the impact he had on his team. This shift in his leadership allowed Apple to grow into one of the most valuable companies in the world. The lesson. Success wasn't just about innovation for Jobs. It was also about addressing the blind spot that was his leadership style. Once he understood it, he was able to lead in a way that empowered others and propelled the company to greater heights. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, the media mogul and philanthropist, is another example of someone who overcame major blind spots on her journey to success. Early in her career, Oprah was struggling with self-worth. She had been told by many people in the industry that she wasn't suitable for television. She faced immense challenges, including difficult personal circumstances and a lack of support in the early years. One of Oprah's blind spots was her belief that she wasn't good enough to succeed in such a competitive industry. She felt like an outsider in a world that constantly reminded her of her limitations. The turning point. Oprah's breakthrough came when she started to embrace her authentic self. She realized that her blind spot wasn't about talent or capability. It was about her belief in herself. Oprah chose to own her uniqueness, her voice, and her story. She didn't try to fit the mold that the industry expected. Instead, she broke the mold and created something entirely new. Oprah became a trailblazer, using her platform to inspire and empower millions of people around the world. The lesson. Oprah's success came when she faced and overcame her internal blind spot, her self-doubt. Once she changed her mindset, everything changed. She became a powerhouse not because she wasn't capable, but because she finally recognized her worth and acted on it. So, let's wrap up this segment by recognizing the power of understanding the consequences of your blind spots. Just like with Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey, success doesn't come from working harder or trying to outrun your obstacles. It comes from recognizing the blind spots in your life, understanding them, and making the changes needed to move forward. The first step to overcoming these hidden barriers is to acknowledge them. Once you shine a light on these invisible forces, you can start to dismantle them and replace them with new, empowering beliefs, habits, and strategies. Remember, wisdom is the principal thing. With all you're getting, get understanding. Understanding your blind spots is your key to breaking free from the limits you've placed on yourself and stepping into the limitless potential that awaits you. Now ask yourself, what's in your blind spot, and what are you going to do about it? Stay with me as we explore how to break free from these hidden obstacles and move toward your breakthrough. Number 3, overcoming blind spots. How to identify blind spots. Now that we've discussed what blind spots are, their consequences, and how they can hold you back, let's talk about how you can identify these hidden obstacles in your life. It's easy to ignore or overlook these things because by nature they're invisible. But once you understand the impact they have, the next step is to confront them. 1. Self-reflection. The first and most powerful tool you have to identify your blind spots is self-reflection. Now, I know this isn't easy. It's not about looking in the mirror and seeing a perfect version of yourself. No, self-reflection is about being brutally honest with yourself. It's about asking those hard, uncomfortable questions that no one else is going to ask you. You need to sit down and ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What am I afraid to face? Those questions will lead you to the answers you've been hiding from. Look, we all have things we try to sweep under the rug. Maybe it's a fear of failure, or a past mistake you haven't forgiven yourself for. Maybe it's a relationship you've been avoiding, or a conversation that needs to happen. Whatever it is, self-reflection allows you to bring those hidden things to the surface. You need to create a safe space where you can look at your life with clear eyes and confront the things you don't want to see. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Growth only happens when you step into discomfort. You can't grow if you're unwilling to face the truths that scare you. 2. Seeking feedback. The second powerful strategy for identifying blind spots is seeking feedback from others. Here's the thing. We are too close to our own lives to see everything clearly. It's like trying to read the fine print in a book with your nose pressed against the page. You need perspective. You need someone who can step back, look at your life from a distance, and point out the things you're missing. Find people you trust. People who love you enough to tell you the truth, even when it's hard. These are the people who won't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Ask them, what do you see that I don't? What's one thing I need to change in order to move forward? Sometimes your growth is dependent on someone else pointing out the things you can't see. These people are not just your cheerleaders, they're your mirrors. They're willing to show you the hard truths, even if it stings. You need that honesty. You need to hear it so you can make the necessary adjustments. 3. Regular check-ins. Another strategy is to make regular check-ins a part of your routine. Now, I'm not talking about checking in with your social media accounts or tracking your favorite TV shows. I'm talking about checking in with yourself. This is where you build a habit of evaluating your progress and being honest about where you stand. Take some time at the end of each day or week to reflect on your habits. What did you do well? What did you struggle with? Where did you feel frustrated? What kept you from reaching your goals? By keeping a journal or tracking your habits, you can start to spot patterns that reveal your blind spots. And don't be afraid to involve a mentor or accountability partner in this process. Find someone who can ask you the tough questions and help you stay honest about your progress. You might think you're doing fine, but someone else might notice things you've overlooked. Regular check-ins are essential for keeping yourself accountable and uncovering the hidden obstacles that stand in your way. Practical steps to remove blind spots. Now that we've discussed how to identify your blind spots, it's time to talk about how to remove them. Understanding them is only the first step. The real power comes when you take action to eliminate them and create the life you were meant to live. Step 1. Step into discomfort. The first action step is to step into discomfort. If you want to overcome your blind spots, you have to get out of your comfort zone. I know it's tempting to stay in a place where everything feels familiar and safe, but that's where growth stops. Comfort zones are like prisons for your potential. Think about it. Every time you're faced with something difficult, your first instinct might be to avoid it, right? But true growth happens when you face the very things that make you uncomfortable. Maybe you've been avoiding a difficult conversation with someone you care about. Maybe you've been procrastinating on a project that you know could change your life. Maybe there's a habit you need to break, but it's hard to let go of the old ways. The key is to push past that initial discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you stretch beyond what feels easy. You have to get used to discomfort if you want to see real transformation. So, step into discomfort. Make the phone call, have the difficult conversation, take that leap of faith. The moment you do, you'll start to see the blind spots dissipate. Step 2. Start questioning your assumptions. The second step is to question the things you've always accepted as truth. We all have assumptions about how life works, about who we are, and what we're capable of. These assumptions become blind spots when they stop you from seeing opportunities or potential for growth. Maybe you've told yourself, "I'm just not good at public speaking," or "I can never lose weight, it's in my genes." These limiting beliefs have become blind spots in your life. They are invisible obstacles that you've accepted as truth, but they don't have to be your reality. You have to start asking, what if that belief is not true? What if I could be better at this? What if I could change this part of myself? By questioning the things you've always believed, you open the door to new possibilities. You take the power away from the blind spot and give yourself the freedom to grow. Step 3. Surround yourself with honest people. The third step is to surround yourself with people who are not afraid to tell you the truth, even when it hurts. This is crucial. You cannot grow if you're only hearing what you want to hear. You need people in your life who will challenge you, who will call you out when necessary, and who will hold you accountable. These are the people who love you enough to tell you the things you might not want to hear. They're the ones who will push you to confront your blind spots. You need to create a circle of people who are committed to your growth, even if it's uncomfortable. If you only surround yourself with yes men or people who tell you what you want to hear, you will stay stuck. True friends and mentors don't let you stay in your blind spots. They push you to see beyond them. Surround yourself with truth tellers. They will help you break free from the limitations you've placed on yourself. Now I'm going to ask you to do something powerful. I want you to think about one thing that you've been avoiding, one truth you've been ignoring. Maybe it's something that you've known deep down for a while, but you haven't had the courage to confront it. Maybe it's a relationship that needs mending, a habit that needs breaking, or a dream that needs chasing. I want you to make a decision right now, today, to face it. This is your moment. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. It's time to shine a light on your blind spots and take action to remove them. What is it? What have you been avoiding? Make the decision right now that today will be the day you confront it. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Make it real. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of this decision. Remember, the only way to remove your blind spots is to confront them. And today, right now, you have the power to do that. Step into discomfort. Question your assumptions. Surround yourself with truth. And take action. Your future self will thank you for it. Blind spots are a part of life, but they don't have to control your life. By identifying them, addressing them, and taking action to overcome them, you unlock the door to limitless growth and success. So take this message with you today. What's in your blind spot? And what are you going to do about it? The choice is yours. Face your blind spots and watch your life transform. Number 4. The power of awareness. Segment 4. The power of awareness. 5 minutes. Transformation through awareness. Now that you've learned how to identify your blind spots and take action to remove them, let's talk about one of the most powerful parts of this journey, the power of awareness. Once you truly see your blind spots, everything changes. Imagine this for a moment. You're driving down the road, and you can't see something in your blind spot. You're unaware of the danger, and because of that, you may not make the best decisions. But then, someone points it out to you. Maybe they shout, "Look out!" Or perhaps they gently guide you to the fact that there's something you've been missing. In that moment, the fog lifts. You can see clearly. That's what happens when you recognize the blind spots in your life. Suddenly, you become a whole new person. It's like the light turns on. The things that were once hidden now come into focus, and you can navigate your journey with clarity. Before awareness, you might have felt stuck, unsure of why things weren't working out, or why you weren't moving forward at the pace you wanted. But once you see the truth, once you know what's been holding you back, it's like you've been given a new set of eyes. You can make better decisions. You can course correct. You can move forward with purpose. Think of it like a puzzle. When you don't have all the pieces, the picture looks blurry and incomplete. But once you find those missing pieces, once you see what was hiding in your blind spots, the entire picture shifts. It becomes clear. And now, you know exactly how to proceed. Breaking through the limits. Now let's talk about what happens when you break through your blind spots and the limits they place on you. I want you to imagine a door in front of you. This door represents your potential, the life you want to live, the success you're striving for. But for most of us, that door is locked. It's not locked by a key, though. It's locked by our blind spots. Blind spots act like invisible barriers that keep us from stepping into new opportunities. They limit our perception of ourselves and the world around us. They cause us to miss the connections, opportunities, and paths that could lead us to success. But the moment you recognize your blind spots, you unlock that door. You remove the invisible barriers. And now, you have access to a world of new opportunities. Once you know what's holding you back, you can make the changes that will move you forward. You stop feeling stuck in the same cycle. You stop doubting yourself. You stop believing the lies that told you, "You can't do this," or "You'll never make it." When you break through your blind spots, you step into a new level of purpose and power. It's like you've been freed from a cage that you didn't even know you were in. You begin to move with confidence, making decisions with clarity. You begin to recognize opportunities that you couldn't see before. Think about the last time you felt stuck. It probably wasn't because you weren't working hard enough or weren't capable enough. It was because something invisible was in your way. But once you remove that, everything changes. The road ahead becomes clearer, and suddenly success doesn't feel so far away. You'll start to see that the limits you thought you had were never really there. Those walls you believed were impenetrable, they were made from your blind spots. And now that you've recognized them, they crumble. The possibilities are endless. Encouragement and hope. Now let's take a moment to address those of you who may be feeling overwhelmed or unsure about making these changes. If you've been listening to this and thinking, This sounds great, but what if it's too hard? Or what if I can't do it? I want to remind you of something important. Don't worry if the journey seems tough. The road to your breakthrough might be bumpy. It might feel uncomfortable, and it might require you to step into places you've never gone before. But hear me when I say this. It's worth it. Transformation is never easy. It requires commitment, it requires work, and it requires facing truths that may make you uncomfortable. But change is a process, and every step you take moves you closer to a better version of yourself. There may be moments where you want to give up or doubt whether it's worth it. But trust me, it is. You are not alone in this journey. Many people have gone before you, and they've overcome their own blind spots to achieve things they never thought possible. And you can too. Your future self will thank you for confronting your blind spots today. The effort you put in now will shape the life you live tomorrow. And one day, when you look back, you'll be able to see just how far you've come. All those struggles, all those moments of discomfort, they'll be the very things that led you to your breakthrough. Just remember, you're not fighting a battle you can't win. The power to change is within you, and as long as you're willing to face the things that are holding you back, you'll find the strength to overcome them. And when you do, you'll be able to step into a life filled with purpose, success, and endless possibilities. The power of awareness is the key that unlocks your potential. Recognizing your blind spots transforms you from someone who is struggling to someone who is thriving. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing to see what you couldn't see before and making the decision to move forward. So take this message with you today. When you see the unseen, everything changes. The opportunities, the success, the growth you've been waiting for are all within your reach. But you first have to look closely and see the things that are hidden from your view. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and remember, the future you is waiting for you to make that first move. As we come to the end of today's message, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful lessons we've learned. You've heard me say it over and over, and I want it to sink deep into your spirit. Blind spots can hold you back, but they don't have to. You have the power to identify them, to address them, and to grow beyond them. Let me break it down for you. Awareness is power. Until you recognize the blind spots in your life, you can't address them. That's the first step. Awareness. It's about looking at your life, not just through the lens of what you can see, but through the lens of what you can't see. The impact of blind spots. We talked about how these unseen obstacles can keep you from achieving your dreams, limit your growth, and even cause you to sabotage your own success without realizing it. But when you shine a light on those blind spots, the entire playing field changes. The power of overcoming. Then we explored the power of overcoming those blind spots. When you confront them, you unlock new opportunities, new levels of success, and new perspectives on life. It's like a door that's been locked and now you have the key to open it. Your life is about to look different, and I'm telling you, it will feel different. Action is essential. I gave you the tools to start identifying and removing those blind spots: self-reflection, seeking feedback, journaling, and most importantly, taking the steps toward change. This journey requires discomfort and courage, but the reward is a life of clarity and purpose. Let me remind you of something that's critical. You are not stuck. You are simply unaware of the things that have been holding you back. But now that you're aware, you have the power to move forward. You have the power to see what's been hiding in your blind spots, and now you have the tools to break free from those things. Now, I want to speak directly to your spirit. It's your time. No more waiting. No more holding back. No more doubting whether you can do it. You have everything you need inside of you to take that next step. The purpose, the drive, the potential, it's all there. The only thing standing in your way is the unseen barrier, the thing you've been avoiding. But listen to me. That barrier, that blind spot, it's not as big as you think. When you shine a light on it, you'll realize that it was just a shadow. It's something that can be removed, overcome, and defeated. And you will defeat it. Today is the day you step into your greatness. Today is the day you take the first step toward your breakthrough. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let the unknown stop you from moving forward. You've got what it takes. I believe in you with all my heart. I know you can do this. I know you can overcome the obstacles in front of you. I know you can break through your blind spots and live the life you were meant to live. So take that step. Step into your purpose. Face the things you've been avoiding. Confront the blind spots that have been holding you back. And when you do, I promise you, you'll experience a transformation like never before. It's time. It's your time. Now go make it happen. Before you go, I want to ask you to do something right now. If this message resonated with you today, don't just let it sit in your mind. Take action. If you're ready to confront your blind spots and break through those invisible barriers, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you can continue receiving messages like this. Messages that will push you toward your breakthrough. But don't stop there. Share this video with someone you know who might be stuck in their blind spots, someone who might be struggling with the same things you're working through. Sharing is caring, and you never know how much your words or this video can impact someone else's life. And finally, I want you to reflect. I want you to think about what you've learned today. What blind spot are you going to confront? What truth have you been avoiding? Head to the comments and let me know. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your commitment to taking that first step. Remember this. Change doesn't happen by accident. Change happens when you decide that you're done with the status quo. It happens when you decide to face your blind spots, step into the light, and walk with clarity and purpose. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being brave enough to confront the unseen things that are holding you back. Your breakthrough is waiting for you, and I can't wait to hear about how you've stepped into your purpose. Stay focused, stay committed, and remember, you've got this. Let's go make it happen.